Hello everyone, coming to you from the Nikon Z6 with 24 to 120, and it's a nice early February day. We've got some good sunshine out there. You'll notice sometimes you'll see a mix of Mountain Dew, coffee, tea. Common denominator is that they have caffeine. But I wanted to talk to you about street shooting with the Nikon. I went out a few times last week with the XH2 before I boxed it up, a couple times early in the week. But then I made a point to take the Nikon out with the big awesome lens, the one lens to rule them all. And I went out myself, and then I went out with my daughter and her dog. A big golden retriever named Bear, and I just took him to my normal stomping grounds in Fort Worth and just kind of around Sundance Square and around behind the courthouse, the river, the Trinity, just to show her what I do during the day when I'm over there if I'm shooting. And that was a different experience because that dog gets into everything.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. He's such a scaredy cat.
So happy, like
Happy, friendly Fort Worth.
He's walking up to people. People look at him and talk to him. Usually, I'm just guy with the camera, maybe a few cameras, something on my back, maybe holding the Joby here, or a tripod, and maybe I'm unapproachable. I guess people just assume I'm doing work of some kind, and that's how I like it, honestly. But it's a good feeling knowing that I'm out there doing a thing that a lot of people would love to be doing, and but with the dog, I mean, people just will come up and they will look at him, they will say something to him or to my daughter or to me. It's a lot more interactive, and it was pretty fun. And it was just fun having another human out there with me, my daughter. And she's seeing things that I don't notice. Like she's very dog-centric. She takes her dog everywhere. She lives over in Dallas, so the stores, the restaurants, the bars, walking trails, wherever she is, she goes to dog-friendly places, and she's just always got her eye out for things. So she'll notice something like a little water bowl on the sidewalk outside of a store, and just things I never look for or notice. She's noticing all these things, and whereas my eye always goes to what I'm gonna photograph or an angle or a light, when you have him, you become more interested in what he's interested in. Now, I would never take him out myself because I wouldn't get many photos shot if I did that. So she had him and was having fun, and I don't know, it was just pretty cool. So I took some video with that, but mostly just shooting some pictures. And then last night I went out. Typically I shoot in golden hour, and I'm usually out of there by sunset. And I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos, as so many of us do, and a lot of the street photography videos, they're in big cool cities with a lot of people around. New York, London, Tokyo, whatever it is. Those are the big three that I notice a lot. And Fort Worth just doesn't have that many people, especially that time of day when I'm over there on the weekdays. And I noticed I was there a little bit earlier with her and Bear, and there were some more people. So I guess usually, even though I'm getting there at like 4:45 in the afternoon, it's pretty cleared out. Downtown Fort Worth is by then, people who work there. So getting there just a little bit earlier, maybe 4:15, 4:20, we saw more people leaving the offices, walking across some areas. So it's a pretty cool scene. You got more people than we usually do. But it still wasn't at night. And last night I wanted to test out the Nikon here with this lens. It's only an f4. It's a constant aperture f4, which I love, but it's not a 2.8. It's not a 1.4. Not anything like that. So wanted to see how that did in the evening, and then once it actually got dark. And I knew it was raining on and off yesterday, and I also wanted to get a few, I don't know, some time in when it's not perfect blue skies out there, or blue skies with a few clouds. So I went there, and I didn't know it, but at the Bass Hall, which I love to photograph, that's the performance hall down in Fort Worth, I guess there was something going on there, some sort of event, so people were starting to walk up. So lo and behold, people for the street photography, which was cool. So we had a little bit of wet roads with the reflecting lights, people coming into the Bass Hall, which I have done many times, but I've never stood across the street and just observed everyone, people kind of dressed up or not dressed up, people holding doors for each other, people with cameras. I just heard a dog skittering downstairs. Yep, here he is. Here's Bear Dog. Oh, hey buddy. Hey buddy. Wait, we were about to knock stuff over. Hey, do you see? Look, there's a camera for you. I'm not sure if he came in or not. I'm gonna take a break for a minute and say hi to the dog. I'll be back. Did not do video. I only wanted to shoot pictures. In that setting, I set out to do video, but by the time I got there and I started looking around, I just thought this would be cool for just walking around and taking pictures. So I did that, and then my wife joined me. I don't know, just at nighttime, the neon signs that are cool that I still haven't shared with you some of the street shots I've taken in Fort Worth yet. That's usually in the golden hour, but I like a lot of neon signs. That's cool. And just at night or even in the evening with that really heavy cloud cover, it was just really cool. And so I was excited to see how the Nikon did with that, because that's where I think the Fuji really shines. The different film sims that you can pick, and since I shoot in RAW plus sim on the Fuji, RAW plus JPEG, I will usually set whatever sim I want, but then of course you bring it into Lightroom, the RAW, and you can pick whatever film sim you want. You can change it to, classic Chrome or ProNeg, high, just whatever you're gonna do. With the Nikon, I still don't love how it is. Definitely not straight out of camera. It's good, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's really good. I will take this over an iPhone. And with the zoom on this lens, I can go all the way out, and I can go all the way in. And on a night like last night, I was just constantly aware of, if I were shooting with my Fuji, I just don't have a good zoom. I have the kit zoom, the 18 to 55 variable aperture that I got with the XT20, almost 6 years ago, and I always thought that was a good lens. But compared to this, I just don't. I don't know. I want to throw it away. I just don't like it anymore. So I'm shooting primes for the most part. I also have a 55 to 200 for the Fuji that I love. But I think that starts out at 3.5 and goes to, 5.6 maybe. Just last night was not going to be great for that one. But I really wanted to put the Nikon through its paces at night, because that's when I think the full frame is better, even on just an f4. So I was excited to see what it looked like, and I didn't look when I got home last night. Another thing about street photography, nighttime people, is just the kind of like with the dog and with the daughter, people just open up to you more. So walking around, I mentioned my wife joined me eventually. She was somewhere else and then came down and walked around with me. And before that, I'm just a photographer guy walking around at night, Sundance Square, and people were just talking, just, hey, take my picture, don't take my picture, hey, sorry I'm in your shot, or hey, can I be in your shot? And when I first got to the Bass Hall, and I'm just kind of across the street at an angle, this is when I first noticed there was something going on. It was still way too early for people to be going in, but a few people were, and I saw some people with cameras taking pictures of whoever they were with that were gonna go in. But after I was just taking my time getting the exact shot, you know, I've got the zoom lens, I can go in and out, and I'm getting down a little bit more at street level, or I'm holding, I've got the tilty screen, so I'm kind of holding it up a little more, and I just get everything I want. And this is Fort Worth, everyone as polite as can be, and I didn't know it, but when I took the camera down and was like, okay, I guess I'm done here, I noticed out of the corner of my eye there's like 7 or 8 people all just standing there, just waiting to not interrupt my photo shooting. And I just was like, oh, you didn't have to wait, sorry. And they're like, no, it's such a cool building and we take pictures of it too. So anyway, I love Fort Worth. My wife gets there later on and she just starts seeing things I don't see, just like my daughter does with the dog. My wife just, I mean, she's got a great eye. She only shoots with her iPhone. She does creative, fun things with that. She loves Snap and making little stories, and they pop up and years later, and they're great reminders of her creative outlet there. But she's just seeing stuff that I don't see. I'm seeing more, and this is what I've realized. I'm seeing more big picture. I'm seeing architecture, I'm seeing landscapes, sky, people. She's seeing over here in this little obscure area that's like, I didn't even look over there. And she's just seeing these wooden school desks, like a built-in chair and a desk sitting outside, a whole bunch of them, like an art installation over under some trees with wooden trees coming out of them, like growing out of the wood of the desk. I took some pictures of that, so did she. So those are really cool, and I'll show you guys some pictures at the end of this video of what we saw last night. And it was just a great night, and really appreciating the Nikon lens there. I was happy when I reviewed them this morning. They were fine straight out of camera. I tweaked them in Lightroom, made them a little better to where I liked them a lot more. I liked them fine. You know, I'm being picky here with the Fuji versus Nikon. Honestly, if you put one next to the other and you didn't tell me, I don't know. I think I could tell. Maybe I couldn't. They'll both be amazing. But the zoom on this, the 24 to 120, basically a 5x zoom over its widest angle to its most zoomed in. I could not have shot last night on my Fuji primes. I could have gone with the great one, the 1.4 23 mil, which is a 35 equivalent. And that's what I prefer to shoot with. I also throw in my 35 f2, which is a 50 mil equivalent. Those are my go-tos. But when I was looking at my shots last night, if I just looked at the 35s in the 50s, kind of in that range, I mean, that wasn't even half of my shots that I took last night. So if I do go back to Fuji eventually, I've got to, I don't know, I've got the 55 to 200, which is basically, you know, an 80 to 300, and I don't know, I just need something more. I know Fuji's coming out with, I've heard, a 16 to 55, a brand new lens this year to replace that 18 to 55 kit lens. It's still going to be a variable aperture. presumably it would be the higher resolution, sharper, better, quieter autofocus. Those are things I'm looking for. So I'll give that a shot. Still got the XT3 and the XT20. I did throw on the XT3 with a couple of lenses, the 35 and the 23, here on this setup before I sat down with the Nikon. And the 35 f2 on the XT3, that was just unusable. The focus just kept kind of shifting and it was really loud with the focus motors. The 23 was great. It wasn't loud like that. It would have totally worked on the XT3 for this video, but I thought, you know, I've just got to immerse in Nikon for a while. And it was cool because I put this on here when I had the 2 primes for the Fuji on this. I'm moving the little Joby tripod forwards and back. I don't have my big tripod in here right now. I decided to do it on the desk from this angle. But when I had, so this is the 23 1.4, so I could scoot this up a little closer to me, and then the 35 I had back a little more. No problem, I got a lot of desk space there, but I don't have the flippy screen on the XT3 or on this Nikon Z like I did on the XH2. I think I may end up going back and buying the XH2 eventually. So I have to get up, compose a shot, sit down, listen, see what it's doing. It's locking on my face fine, but then I scoot it up a little more. With this, I have it here, and I checked it out at 35 and at 50, just like my 2 primes, and I'm ended up settling in somewhere really probably closer to 40. I could just get it tweaked in a little bit more. Never had to move the tripod, just slightly zooming in and out. So that's the greatness of a zoom for these settings. So that's where we're at. I hope you guys like some of these pictures here, sharing Fort Worth with you all. I'm throwing in some from the walk with Lauren and Bear from the other day, and then some from last night. It wasn't raining when I was there, but it had rained, and it was still real cloudy, and I don't know, just a good night. That's about it. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.